People who make $100,000+ a year without affording a degree. What is your job? Story 1. I've worked since I was 15. Put my head down and worked. 5 years later, the competition offered me my own franchise. Now I make more money than all of my brothers and sisters with their fancy degrees. My advice is if you don't want or are unable to go the degree route, find a company or business you have a knack for and put your head down and work. It may not be lucrative at first, but if you're dedicated and driven, you will quickly work your way up in any company. 10 years of strong, relevant experience will outweigh a degree to any smart employer. Once you have that experience, you can cash in on the better-paying, more cushy management-style roles in your field that most likely bring along the bigger salary and perks. Edit. Surprised more people were interested in this than I thought. For little more explanation, it was 5 years after I dropped out of school I was offered a franchise opportunity. I had worked in the business for about 12 years total at the time. What I was offered is called an LLP franchise, low equity partnership. The purpose of these agreements is that they do not want people with deep pockets buying their franchises. They want people motivated to make money, not people who already have it. You're required to pay an initial investment or franchise fee that's usually around $25K to $50K. That's your initial equity. The company then finances you with an interest-free loan for your inventory and equipment. You're required to pay that loan back through your profits or pay it all in its entirety when you sell the franchise back. You pay yourself a predetermined salary, usually in the $75K to $125K range depending on the size. Then you and the company have an even 50-50 split of the profits at the end of the year. You also typically have to agree to pay a certain amount for marketing and purchase X amount of your stock from said company and follow their program. I should have mentioned before being offered the franchise opportunity. I had to spend 8 months in a paid franchise training program, and your receiving of a franchise is contingent on successful completion of that program. There are 500 franchisees in my banner that make yearly salaries from $90K to $200K, and very few of them have any education. They all did the same thing. They put their head down, worked hard, gained experience, and then jumped on an opportunity when it arises. Not saying it's easy, but I do believe anyone with the right drive or motivation can do it. They do say when applying for a franchise, a degree is an asset, but 10 years of relevant experience is far more important. You still have to be really lucky, though. I worked my butt off working in retail, grocery stores included, and it never went anywhere. Hard work is definitely valued. I have to question whether this is a foolproof method, though. I think there has to be a little bit of ambition involved in this as well. I really don't see a lot of company loyalty these days. And you also have to consider the right opportunity. There may be some franchises that have really bad deals going on in the background. You may have to look at the contract and make sure that you're not going to get sucked into something you can't get out of. Story 2. I'm a recruiter. No college degree or certifications. I had 5-ish years of retail/food experience, ending that with a general manager title before getting into recruitment. Pretty much anyone can get into a recruiting job if you apply to work at staffing agencies. Randstad, Adecco, Robert Half, Kelly Services, etc. Agency recruiting is a grind, but you can make a ton of money with the commissions. And the base salary without commissions is normally plenty to live on. And if you just pay your dues with a staffing agency for a few years, you can transition into a corporate in-house recruiting job after that. My first year in staffing, my base was $40K. And I made $70K total that year, including commissions. My second year, my base was $42K, and I made $90K, including commissions. Then I moved into a corporate recruiting job with a well-known tech company. The base was much higher, but I took a bit of a pay cut overall in exchange for better benefits and work-life balance. My first year there, I was at a $70K base and around $85K total, including bonuses. I just completed 3 years there, going into my 4th year now, currently at $80K base and $120K, including bonuses. I have a raise going effective in January to $90K base and $115K, including bonuses. If you go into recruitment, go with either healthcare, nursing or physicians, not allied, or let's recruiting. That's where the money is. You won't make much recruiting for more blue-collar industries. I am free to ask me anything. Underrated answer here. I'm a corporate recruiter for a Fortune 500 company. $100K salary plus 20% bonus. I tell everyone to get into recruiting. Princess names some of the big two companies to look at if you decide to go this route. I will say I don't think there's any shortage of work in the recruiting company. I get contacted by recruiters all the time. Would be great if some of them went anywhere, but there's a lot of people working on stuff. At least you can have a livable salary while you're still trying to get your groove and get connections going in whatever industry you're in. Story 3. Husband is a union tower crane operator. He dropped out of high school, got his GED at 25, joined the union at 29, and at 34 makes almost $200K a year. It's a good gig, as long as you don't mind heights. Edit. We live in the PNW. He works along the Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington border. Best way to get into cranes is to call your local IUOE. Go through the apprenticeship program and work your way through your certifications. Build relationships with your peers and maintain your work ethic. You won't see the out-of-work list. You'll be requested for jobs. What about the ungodly hours worked? He works 50 hours a week generally. Busy jobs keep him closer to 60, sometimes 70. He's still home for dinner most nights. We have family day on Sunday and we take some pretty epic trips, so we're not short on memories. Plus, our kids, 6 and 8, get to see him at work and learn all about the sites he's on. No different hours-wise from retail management, but a hell of a lot more perks, better benefits, and we built a great group of friends who work in the trades. We're surrounded by people with similar schedules and priorities. A little more hours than 40 a week, but doesn't sound too bad overall. It's a construction job, but you get to sit down all the time. I would imagine you have to have some pretty heavy ear protection or you're gonna be deaf by the time you're retirement age. Of course, again, this is probably not for everybody. Story 4. I work in IT for a major telecom. No degree, but several certs. A nice, easy 9 to 5. What certs exactly, if I may ask? Where did you get them? Before or after applying to the job? Be careful. One of the problems in the field that most employers are looking for are paper techs who have certs but not the knowledge. It's generally a good idea to learn the topic and then decide to pursue the cert for what you already know, rather than just get the cert through cramming. One of the easiest ways to get your foot in the door with IT is a home lab. You can even make a halfway decent one out of some Raspberry Pis and start learning the tech. One of the major questions I would ask when I was helping to hire more basic IT jobs was, do you have a home lab? If so, tell me about it. If someone was basically a warm body but could really geek out about their home lab, I'd almost always give them a try. Story 5. Not me, but my wife. She made $290,000 last year and is estimated to make $350,000 this year. She owns a business that does like $1.5 million in sales of surgical device equipment to hospitals. She sells stuff like shoulder and hip replacements, the plates and screws used to fix broken wrists, nerve grafts, and even these crazy magnetic nail things that allow people with different length legs to have length added, or for people with dwarfism to add up to 4 inches of total height. Edit to add. She does not have a college degree, but she joined the Army and did a 1-year program to become a radiologic tech. She did that job in the operating room during surgeries for a couple of years, and meeting other sales reps is how she came into her job. She was such a high seller that her first boss was afraid she would quit, and then his business would fail. So he offered her 50% ownership of the company. Since then, she has started up a second business selling other non-competing products so that she gets 100% of the profits versus half. I know a couple of people without degrees that made sales. Definitely for certain personality types. Good for you both. Story 6. Created a new throwaway for this. I'm a sales engineer for a technology company. My compensation varies, but ranges between $250,000 and $450,000 a year. Last year I made $385K. This year I'll make $250K. I dropped out of high school my junior year and started working right away in a tech support job. This was during a time, 1993, where CS degrees were relatively new and senior folks in the industry were more likely to have an EE degree instead. Fast forward 5 to 6 years. My practical work experience over that period of time trumped the other candidates my age that were just getting out of college with their newly minted degrees. Now, I'm in my 40s. I've been in the same field for over 25 years and am damn near at the top of it. I'm thankful I was able to make it this far. It's rare for women in this field to last even half as long, and the barriers were so much greater when I first started out. I think being an early adopter in a field is pretty much key for any field. It's good that she was able to build up a reputation and be able to stay in this field. Hopefully, she has a plan for the future and is able to sock away what she's been making so far. That's really good money. Story 7. I'm a welder. Moved my way around and now in aviation and have been for a while now. I cleared 100K back in October. Probably going to end the year around 120K at 26. What I do is weld main component parts for jet engines, combustors, bearing housings, vane blades, and so on. No degree, but I did go to vocational high school. This isn't the route you'd have to take either. People can learn it on the side, as welding is more of a show-us-you-can type of work. My field requires multiple tests, both written and physical, which may require some schooling on welding basics. Then weld various metals together, X-ray, cut apart, and so on. I'm very fortunate to be in a laid-back environment. I have an area all to myself where I'm rarely bothered. Nothing I lift is strenuous. Most of my work takes place in a chair. Love it, though. I wouldn't want to do much else. Also to note, my job is union, and I strongly suggest union to blue-collar people. You're not harassed by management, have a higher entity protecting your rights to do the job you do, and only do the job, and not someone else's. And unions pay way more, clearly. Story 8. I buy used yachts, speedboats, and ribs in Scandinavia for very cheap and sell them in Africa. I don't have a degree. I used to work a lot of awful jobs. I was a garbage man, airplane cleaner, night manager at a stay-okay hostel, saved enough money to buy an ice cream stand, found out how I could sell my ice cream at festivals. Ice cream at festivals is an incredibly fast way to make money. Once I had a good amount of money, I thought it would be a nice idea to buy a speedboat and go fishing now that I finally had some time to relax. I did that and sent a picture to my friend in East Africa, and we started talking about it. And then we started talking about the price and how cheap it was. So I learned a lot about export and all that and how to send it to Africa to sell it, and it worked. Then I tried it again a few months later, and now I buy and sell about 15 a month. I imagine a blonde bearded man on a speedboat sailing away to Africa, and it's glorious. Story 9. Write code and trade. I was never one for school. I dropped out of high school to get my GED and start going to some type of college, but then life took over and I never went to school. I would mess around with my gaming consoles and programming through high school, and when I left, I started working on the road cleaning hotel PTAX. I would be gone for 6 months at a time and come home for 1 week. So, naturally, I said, forget this. I started getting into crypto in 2015-16, which ignited the whole programming stuff again. I now write front-end code for a company as my 9-to-5, have a few mining rigs going, I play around with options and stock trading, and I do side dev work. I'm working at getting into bug bounties. Coding is in a state of flux right now. People are all afraid that AI is just going to take over. I've seen a lot of videos of people saying, "Ooh, AI built this website for me." There's some alarm on some sides and some that are saying, "Oh, this is all just boilerplate, we don't have to worry about this." We'll have to see in a few years how the coding world is going to take this. This and a lot of other jobs are going to be in flux. Story 10. Operator maintenance at a peaker plant. Blue-collar jobs are and have been in demand. Find one you think you'll enjoy and focus on retiring. It's a rewarding career. You get to work with your hands, computers are integrated into many types of systems now, so you'll learn many IT skills. You'll have to track work needed, work done, work scheduled, etc., so you'll use a lot of administration skills and so forth. Mostly, you won't end up with 50K plus in loan debt just to fight 30 other people for a job that starts out at 35K with bad insurance and no retirement package. Story 11. I used to manage a cooperative, recycling shipping containers. The job was a lot of physical work, but didn't require any special skills beyond management. I had a $67,000 a year salary and earned about $3,500 a month in bonuses. We basically charged companies to dispose of their drums and IBCs, cleaned and painted any in good condition, and sold them for less than the cost of new containers, usually to the same people that paid us to haul them away, and scrapped any unusable ones. My trucks didn't move without turning a profit. My trucks didn't move without turning a profit. That sentence just gave me goosebumps for some reason. Story 12. My wife, director level in logistics, worked up from retail management. She's very smart and incredibly hardworking. Most of the people at her company with positions at the same level have MBAs. Here I am with a bachelor's making less than she does. Super proud of her, though. Logistics is a great industry for those without a degree. One of the few you can genuinely keep moving up. Doing the same without finishing my degree. I'm already at $70K at 32. Logistics is great if you're a fast, logical thinker with problem-solving skills. Yeah, again, this is for a certain type of person, but this sounds like it could be really good. It sounds like more of a right-brained activity than a physical one. For those people that like to solve puzzles, this one is probably the one to look at. What is the high salary point you could get at that point? Story 13. I have a friend who's been in a federal job for 20 plus years. High school diploma, started at the absolute bottom when he was 19. Now makes right around $100K and gets 6 weeks of vacation a year plus sick leave. Federal pay scale is ridiculous. You get guaranteed raises every year, and not small ones either. Story 14. I was stuck in the 9 to 5. No time for my family, hobbies, or food. Then I discovered this online course by a self-taught marketing guru. Now I'm rich, working from my laptop and traveling like crazy, all without a degree. You can learn more here, insert scam website here, where for a limited time I'm giving you the chance to be involved in a free webinar. Have me in the first half, not gonna lie. Story 15. Bartending in a high-end resort town. I work my butt off during the seasons, but off-season is easy. Which town? I.e., I'm coming, so get the linens out. I presently work on the East Coast in a small private beach, boating, golf town. It's such a small place I can't say without risk being outed. Sorry. In past, I have worked in Hamptons, Jackson Hole, Sun Valley, South Florida, and a few other places. I used to live in Vegas. I saw a lot of bartending schools. I think the key to a high-paying bartending job is the right location. With this person in a small town but a high output, I think this is just where you have to be a big fish in a small pond. Sounds like he moves a lot too. Hope he has family or friends that are okay with this. Story 16. I work as a B-pressure welder in Canada. I have my own rig, truck with welding equipment in it, and I average $125 an hour. Depending on the work available and how much time you're willing to put in, you can make anywhere from $100K to $400K. Last 3 years, I made $250K working 9 months of the year and taking 3 months off. Story 17. Software engineer. Edit. For reference, self-taught, 15 years now. Me as well, but I had some training in the Air Force. It's been over 20 years now. We're hiring a junior developer out of a boot camp. Starting pay is around 60 or so, but in 5 years they will be over 100. Story 18. My brother-in-law's 3 sons are all journeyman electricians. Dad is a master electrician. 2 of them are high school dropouts. 2 of them make over $100,000. The youngest makes about $85,000, but he's gaining on his brothers. Sounds like they all just went into the family business. Was the dad open to teaching them some of the early tricks of the trade? Sounds like they had an in kind of early there. I wonder what kind of training you have to do to get into this. Is it unionized? Story 19. Nuclear plant operations. You can get into a senior reactor operator licensing class with certain experience or education. A huge number of the SROs are ex-Navy nukes. The Navy requires a high school diploma. Job pay usually starts at over $100K. Yeah, but nuke school might as well be an associate's degree. Edit. Enlisted nuke school. Story 20. I can make $100,000 plus with lots of OT. I melt nickel-based cobalt superalloys that are used in the chemical and space industries. Join a union. Union brothers and sisters keep this country from turning into a pile of junk for the working class. And with little thanks. So, thanks. Story 21. Eyelash extensions in a rich city. My old job was high-end car sales. I sold a brand new 2018 G63 AMG to a couple who owned a bunch of nail salons. My favorite part? They paid cash. Like literally a bag of cash of $160K. I was blown away. So wait, did he just make money off of someone who sold eyelash extensions? Or did he start off in car sales and pivot into eyelash extensions? There's a little bit more to this story that needs to be answered. Story 22. Dental laboratory manager/owner. This sounds like the kind of thing that would require a degree. Story 23. Escort. It's legal in my country. Edit. I'm from New Zealand, for anyone wondering. I'm the first person to admit I looked at your profile to see if you had pictures. Story 24. I'm a freight conductor for a Class 1 railroad in the United States. $108,000 a year. Never stepped foot in a college before. I'm 22 years old. Railroads pay that much? I really wish we could get our act together in America and have high-speed passenger transportation. I think if more people knew that this kind of stuff is lucrative, maybe the industry would be a little bit bigger than it already is. A lot of other countries have better transportation as far as trains are concerned than here in America. Story 25. I'm here for future job ideas to carry on, everyone. And there's a lot I'm already crossing out. Story 26. I made $100K with Bitcoin. 75K, 50K, 25. And it's gone. Oops, now you owe me $100K. Story 27. I was the 1,000,000th person to visit a website 3 times in a row. Just gave them my credit card info, and now I'm waiting for my check. I know, this is the joke response. But in all seriousness, I think people were listening to these stories hoping for a really easy thing to jump into and be able to make a lot of money really quick. Everyone's looking for that. And there are a ton of videos on YouTube of people selling courses that promise just that. So there's your answer. Make money selling YouTube courses. Story 28. I'm the head of sanitation services for a small city. It's a do-nothing job. I got it without degrees because I slept my way to the top. Username checks out. Story 29. Owning a private jet catering company. You'd be surprised what the richest 1% of people are willing to spend on stupid things. I just did a video about what the people that are the 1% would spend money on. I'm not that surprised. I think the biggest thing people are willing to spend money on is stuff that saves them time. Private transportation that can take you anywhere almost instantly? That's pretty high up on that list. Story 30. Elevator mechanic. I've read elevator music. This would be a sad job. Story 31. I don't have such income. My best friend has it. He makes Android applications. Story 32. I'll sell propane and propane accessories. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.